about the closure of these stations. Today, we'll be joined in the studio by their spokesperson to justify why they are supporting what the NCA considers to be clearly following the laws of the Republic of Ghana. Is the minority in Ghana endorsing illegality? That's one of the issues that we'll be dealing with. But we'll deal with that. We'll also be dealing with the other issue. The Right to Information Act finally has been passed and assented to by the President of the Republic of Ghana. What is their say on this particular issue too? We'll also be spending some quality time on the other emerging matters in this country. What is the say of the minority when it comes to the credibility of the Electoral Commission? The former President John Dramani Mahama is not convinced the Electoral Commission will be an independent arbiter going into the next election. Is the minority independently having a different view on the matter or supporting the former president in this particular quest? All of these will be on the table, but with one individual who represents them. After the break, I'll unveil him and this conversation will continue.
When you are on break.
This is Upfront. My name is Raymond Aqua. Now, my guest today is a member of parliament. He also speaks for the minority in all of his forms and also is on the Committee of Communications. The Honorable A.B.A Fuseini. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Raymond, and good to see you again. Looking good.
Oh, yes. It's been a long time since we had an encounter like this.
Yes.
Apparently, you'll be out there demonstrating.
Yeah.
You've been out there joining protests.
Yes. Protest
of illegal source. I'm sure you want to agree. Because clearly, the chronology of Red Eagle's frequency authorization as of May 10th, 2019 shows that the company failed to do the right things along the line. And you, the member of parliament who actually makes laws, is supporting this quest.
Yeah, Raymond, let me say a good evening to all your viewers, to the good people of the Sanargo constituency, and to your technical people and Ghanaians as a whole. From the very outset, let me say without any iota of contradiction that what we did in reference to the protest that you're talking about was perfectly legal and also designed to ensure that we hold institutions of this country to account.
Okay.
And to ensure that institutions who are given the power to do things, do them in the right perspective. Raymond, I'm sure you can recall that Article 296 of the Constitution makes it abundantly clear that if you are given a power to exercise,
the discretionary power,
must be exercised fairly.
It should be fair, candid, and reasonable.
And so, in this particular instance, and as I will demonstrate, and I, as a ranking member on the Communications Committee, is all out to ensure that the NCA functions properly. Yeah. So, we will be the last to throw any obstacles now, but we must make it abundantly clear that NCA itself fell foul of some of the provisions of the law. You see, Raymond, if you look at the Electronic Communications Act, Act 775 of 2008.
Okay.
Raymond, it spells out clearly that if the NCA gives you a spectrum, and the NCA decides for egregious violations of the use of the spectrum to take it away, there are steps that the NCA ought to take. Raymond, first it says it should give you 30-day notice.
Okay.
After the notice, it should give you adequate opportunity to present your case, to argue your case, to present your merits as to why you believe that you are in good standing and do not deserve to be taken away. And more importantly, 3, Raymond, to give you adequate opportunity to rectify the error, the mishap, or the infraction that you are supposed to be engaging.
Does this have
adequate opportunity? And I'll demonstrate that when it comes to the ruling of the Electronic Communications Tribunal, delivered on the 18th of June last year, to which even the NCA cited as a basis for taking the action. I can say, Raymond, this is the document.
Okay.
I can leave a copy with you. And you go nowhere in the document did they sanction, let alone even authorize the NCA to take the action that they did.
Now,
so any reference to that is fraud. And Raymond, we can go back.
Is it true? Is it true that on the 2nd of October 2000, the company's authorization expired, but the company did not submit renewal application prior to its expiry.
Raymond, I'm sure as has been narrated, it has been in the public domain. The management of network broadcasting company made it abundantly clear. Even checks were issued to support their claim for the
as of
renewal authorization. I'm saying that if you are talking of 2000,
yes,
this document that I just mentioned to you nullified all the fines they are talking about as illegal. Okay, so those fines did not exist as far as the law was concerned. They were nullified.
Now let's leave
that. We are talking about,
because I'm looking at the dates in
authorization.
This case. Yes, and on the 25th of August 2009, did the NCA write a final notice to the company referencing the letter of 29 September 2008, as well as a telephone conversation with the director of the company, one Rashid Tanko Amidu, and reminded the company that their authorization had expired? Indeed, did the NCA say that the company was requested to apply for a renewal by the 25th of September, failing which the company and its frequency will be withdrawn and the company closed down?
Raymond,
were these given?
I just indicated to you that we are in a rule of law dispensation.
Yes, but you mentioned 30 days. Yes. On 25th of August 2009, yes, they were given that directive to do so by 25th of September.
I'm just indicating
that's 30
to you
days, right?
Even this was a matter that was even before the tribunal.
Yes.
And I can read to you, the tribunal nullified all the fines.
Show me proof in that.
Oh, Raymond, I can read. It's a very long document.
Yes, but specifically where does
it quashed. You see, it quashed all the fines that were imposed. Look, if I read the conclusion, accordingly, grounds B, C, and D are hereby dismissed for the reasons given in the tribunal's discussion of grounds A. The appeal is allowed on grounds of A in respect of all appellants, bar 1, and the penalties imposed on all the appellants, with the exception of Network Broadcasting Company Limited, are hereby quashed. Okay? The appeal of Network Broadcasting Company Limited is allowed on the ground of procedural impropriety, and therefore its penalty is also quashed. So the fines, it is abundantly, this is a document signed by the tribunal under the chairmanship of Justice Samuel Kofi Dakeba, Professor Ni Naku Kweno, member, Badela Moti Akpaji, member. Okay, this is the ruling of the Electoral Communications Tribunal. So Raymond, it makes it abundantly clear. And in the same ruling, Raymond, if I'm allowed to read, look, it makes it abundantly clear here also that the issue of procedural impropriety, which is cited here, that the NCA was caught up in that procedural impropriety by not even allowing the Network Broadcasting Company, XYZ, and other adequate opportunity to have that infraction remedied. And it's here.
Did the Electronic Communications Tribunal quash the penalties imposed on the company?
Yes.
But we know that for a fact, right?
Yes, it's here.
But we know that the Electronic Communications Tribunal stated that a former holder of a frequency authorization will vest in the same position as a fresh applicant when the authorization expires.
So that is why we come back to the original issue that I raised.
Yes.
In 775.
So now they are now fresh applicants.
I'm saying that, Raymond, if I'm just giving you a scenario.
Yeah.
The NCA exists not to kill radio stations or not to as it were, extinguish those who are holders of its spectrum.
But to regulate the space.
Exactly. To regulate it in such a manner. So as a regulator, you have a duty, a binding duty in enforcing the law to deal with the letter and spirit of the law. So the spirit of the law enjoins you to have some very important dialogue with your constituents.
Why is this spirit stated?
Pardon? Oh, part of the establishment of the act of the NCA.
So that's
a duty to work with to have a very harmonious relationship.
Yes, but I mean, there's trajectory to this.
And that is why I'm saying that that's why I read to you even conditions under which you can even shut down a radio station or the user of your frequency. But in this particular instance, the NCA did not try to abate the nuisance. I'll just give you let me give you a scenario.
So you're not addressing your mind to the fact that the exact case of the NCA is simple. That so far as the penalties imposed on the company were quashed, and that the holder of this frequency authorization reverts to the same position as a fresh applicant when the authorization expires.
Yes.
Of course. Radio Gold could not have had a valid authorization to operate as an FM station. That's not in doubt,
That is why even the tribunal, they did not give adequate opportunity to the radio station to apply and get its authorization back. It's here.
This ruling.
Yes. I can read to you.
No, the decision to shut down
listen to this part.
Yes.
Just before the conclusion, the issue to be determined is whether Network Broadcasting Company Limited, on the facts as narrated under ground A above, was given an adequate opportunity to respond to the decision of the respondent. The respondent here is the National Communication Authority. Okay, to the decision of the respondent to charge it with the offense of failure to apply for a renewal of the authorization before its expiry. Okay? Listen to this point. The evidence on this is rather scanty. However, the tribunal is not satisfied that the company was given an adequate opportunity. This is the ruling of the tribunal. That it is not satisfied that Network Broadcasting Company was given adequate opportunity to get its authorization done.
But this is towards
the ruling.
Towards the cancellation of the fines and the...
Not just the fines. It is talking about the renewal. Even for the renewal. That the National Communication Authority did not give Network Broadcasting Company adequate opportunity to have its renewal. And that is why I read to you the earlier one. That it has a duty.
Let's be clear.
An opportunity should be given for them to renew.
So this company thinks that the action of the NCA was not in tandem with the ruling of the Electronic Communications Act. Have they filed a suit to complain?
I don't know whether, but I believe the company has very good grounds, especially given this ruling. But beyond that,
but instead of being on the streets, have they filed a suit to complain?
I've always been saying that, you see, democracy is underpinned by good governance.
Yes.
Good governance doesn't always entail that if you are not satisfied with what I'm doing, go to court. I think that is rather a very arrogant posture to take. It is always important to engage. We should engage one another and let people present their case on the merits of their case. We'll see. And I've been saying,
they've done a lot of
Raymond,
that.
I'm saying that. Why? Is the NCA interested in closing down radio stations? Is that their mandate? Their mandate is to grow radio stations because look.
And also sanitize the space.
Exactly. I am for the sanitization. Yeah. So you give them the opportunity. Give them the adequate. That is why in Act 775.
But it's been shown that on several occasions, people were given the opportunity to pay up.
Their management have indicated that some of them have even sent checks and they were turned back. That is why ulterior motives are being raised. I don't want to go into that area, but I'm telling you that it's important. Raymond, if you hear the howling of a hyena in the neighborhood and the goat gets missing, you don't ask who caught it again. It's clear. So some of these actions that are taken, and you see, one reference was made to the tribunal ruling as the basis for the action that NCA took.
Yeah.
Raymond, this happened on the 18th of June last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Why did it take that long? Number two, why did you have to start with Radio Gold and XYZ?
They are the only defaulting ones in the
data. Today, as we speak, they said that over 50 radio stations have been closed.
Across the country.
Not only
across the country.
They are not the only ones
they
in Accra.
made it very clear.
Number one,
all the others actually paid up when they were asked to make payments.
If you are going to even start an SI, do you necessarily start it in Accra?
Why
should you always be Accra?
It's not the capital.
You can start it in Tamale, you can start it in Sunyani. Nothing stops you.
But
Raymond,
it's exercise of discretion.
And I'm saying that intrusive Radio Golden, look at the manner in which you were saying, heavily armed security. As if you were going to war in Kosovo or in Afghanistan. Heavily armed.
What's your problem?
Do you need that? It betrays a certain level of misconception.
But they were asked to shut down operations. They didn't do so.
I am just telling you that you did not need that level of security threat to go there
and when the company has failed to comply with the rules.
You see, and also Raymond, look at the timing.
What's the problem with the timing?
They went to shut them down at the time they were broadcasting live press conference of the Council of Elders of the National Democratic Party. So it would have been
better if they actually waited for the press.
No, I'm saying that discretion. You see, Raymond, if all of us here,
but the NCA is blinded to the partisan politics of the day.
You see, that is why in doing this, they must take extreme care so that one does not tie it with a brush of partisanship. If that happens, it will mar the work. And I am in favor of the NCA being seen as a neutral arbiter in this process. But when you do things, Raymond, I'm just saying that if all of us here in this room are erect, we are all standing straight, and then you alone, you squat, and they find something there, the likely possibility is that you put it there. Okay? So I'm saying that even if you didn't intend to do that, but this kind of action that you took lends credence to those who are arguing that they were setting ulterior, perhaps adroitly political motives.
But it's not
what is happening. And that is why
motives,
the NCA...
Why are the people not choosing the alternative? Why are they not putting an injunction on the decision by the NCA?
That is exactly
why are they not resorting to the legitimate bodies of state that deals with these issues?
Raymond, that is why I am in favor of the NCA. And let me say this as a matter of record, that as a ranking member of the committee, together with my chairman on the committee, Honorable Kennedy Japan, we have already asked our clerk to write to the NCA to appear before the committee.
Okay.
On this matter. Yes, so that we can together, they will brief us, we interrogate the matters, and also point the way forward. Because we are interested not only in ensuring that NCA is insulated from this partisan thing that we did, so that it can do its work properly. But we are also interested in ensuring that, look, the growth of our democracy is underpinned by freedom of expression.
When is this meeting expected to happen?
Raymond, I'm sure that by the 29th or 30th of this month, when Parliament resumes, we are expecting to meet the NCA. But Raymond, this is so important. Let me land on this one.
You are saying that the decision of the NCA was wrong.
I think so, and politically inexpedient. In the context of our democracy.
What does your chairman think?
My chairman is in favor. In fact, my chairman is.
He also thinks that
he's a member of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters.
Yes, but your chairman owns a radio station.
Yes, exactly. So
he's not compromised in this matter.
He knows that even if he allows even things like this to go on, tomorrow it could be his turn.
I see.
And we are saying that, Raymond, all of us, not because we are owners of radio stations, but the right of the freedom of expression is crucial to our. In fact, is central to our democracy. The day freedom of expression is taken away, that is the end of our democracy.
That is to presume that freedom of expression only happens within the roots of radio stations.
And that's why I'm saying that the radio stations are one channel, one important channel.
There are still some 300 or so radio stations across the country.
Can you imagine those? There are people. Look, there are people who are avid listeners to Joy FM.
Yeah,
I listen to Joy FM for some news and current affairs, and even this your program is one of my favorites.
Okay,
I don't miss it.
Wonderful.
You understand it?
I get you.
So when I hear that Joy FM has been closed down, what avenue does it offer me to ventilate my grievance? Because I contribute to ideas.
Okay.
So I wake up and I hear that this radio station has been closed down. Millions of Ghanaians who see it as a channel for ventilating their grievances.
Okay.
For profiling their opinions about governance, so that government will listen and be able to make better input.
And the millions will not question the radio
station. What because are you leaving them? To go onto the streets and be violent? Because that is a channel for sanitized communication in democracy. We should be talking to each other, not talking at each other, let alone even taking offensive weapons and hacking at each other. That freedom of expression should never be toyed with.
But to be
that
clear,
is why, Raymond,
I heard the managers of network broadcasters saying that they are still engaged in the NCA.
Look, see,
so what was the basis of going out there to demonstrate when the managers are still engaged?
It's a very legitimate tool in a democracy.
I get your point, but I'm saying that.
And I'm saying that is to draw attention. Indeed,
mostly is the last resort.
I've even heard people, a lot of leadership at the NCA, saying that the petition we presented at the end of the demonstration, they read some of the points and they were very impressed.
Really?
Yes, that some of the points that made will help to enrich the content of the operations of the NCA. So I think that is fantastic. But Raymond, I'm intrigued.
Which leadership told
President Nana Akufo-Addo.
Yes, what's the point?
Okay, who undoubtedly has had some positive credentials in the right of freedom of expression, in the struggle to entrench freedom of expression.
Because the Attorney General that removed the criminal and seditious libel.
You can say so. Yeah. And also even participated in Radio I. I'm sure you heard of it.
Very good. The demonstrations.
But also even to go to GBC, to the Supreme Court, to argue that the GBC should give equal access to all political parties.
He was loyal to Tarzan.
Exactly. So you can bring all those on board. Interestingly, by the grace of Allah Almighty, he is the President of the Republic today. And under his watch, media houses are being closed. Even when Radio I was broadcasting without authorization. He thought it wise to go and defend it. Is that not true?
Yeah.
Today, radio stations that have been broadcasting for all these years, and you know they have been in existence and contributed critically to our democratic process, are being shut down under your watch. So under his what? From
what can he
from
do
President
about it?
Rollins,
Yeah.
President Kufuor, President Atamils, may Allah be pleased with his soul, President John Dramani Mahama. Under all these presidents, the media has flourished. Okay? Many more radio stations have opened under every president. When it comes to your presidency, you are not opening more radio stations, you are closing them down. Is it a credit?
To be fair, more radio stations have been opened. And
I'm telling you that you
by the day,
and you are closing down more radio stations.
By the day, there are more radio stations.
And I'm saying that you are closing down more radio stations. Is it a credit? Is it a minus to our democracy or a plus?
So if the NCA
you should be encouraging. So
forgive me.
President Nana Akufo-Addo should allow these radio stations to be compliant. And I've said that they should be compliant.
As member of parliament,
opportunities
is it your position
that
if the NCA shuts down a radio station because if it has failed according to the NCA to do what is supposed to be done or follow the right process, you're of the considered opinion this is a directive for
I just demonstrated to you that even the flaws that are involved.
I'm saying,
but beyond even the flaws,
you insist that this is from the president.
Yeah, I'm just indicating to you why.
No, that's a direct question I'm asking you. You are insisting that it's from the president.
The NCA functions under the executive authority. Is it not true?
So yes.
Is top-notch people are appointed by the president. Is it not true?
But it's an authority.
Where does the responsibility stop?
Forgive me.
Where does the buck stop?
You know, as a member of parliament who makes laws, that authorities have some level of independence.
You are talking of semi-autonomy.
Yes, I agree with you.
Not complete autonomy.
I agree perfectly.
So let's not confuse full autonomy with semi-autonomy.
But you have no evidence to suggest that
because
this was directly under the direction of the president.
Do you know, for instance, that assuming without admitting, if the executive gives a direction, I'm not saying maybe that is what happened here, but it could be that the Director General of the NCA should act like this in conformity with what government wants, and he doesn't do it, the president will fire him.
Yes, but that's not happening.
So that tells you that it is not autonomous.
You have no evidence today to suggest.
I'm just giving you an example.
No,
so
but that's speculation.
No, not just speculation.
Honorable, beyond speculation.
We are in the political world.
I get you, and I'm not oblivious of that.
You cannot be oblivious of the fact that politicians and those in authority would want their interests catered for.
Did they happen under the NDC?
And
did this happen under the NDC?
It could have happened. I'm not here to make a partisan argument, but I'm saying that it could happen.
But so I'm saying that I'm expecting you, the MP,
that is why,
to provide proof,
Raymond,
that indeed the president influenced
Raymond,
decision.
that is why I
but you don't have any proof.
That is why I want the NCA to be insulated from the vagaries of political decision making.
But you are still suggesting that there's some element of that in there.
Yes, well, I can't rule it out. I'm telling you.
Without evidence.
I am saying that it could happen.
But it could happen speculative.
Yes,
anything really could happen.
The reality is that it's happening. That radio stations are being shut down.
Yes.
And the shutdown
but
began,
the motive for the shutdown that we are discussing now.
The shutdown began with radio stations that are perceived to be anti-government.
But
and that is why I told you that.
That
is why I told you that, Raymond. If we are all erect and you alone you squat and there's something, we'll say that you did it. Why did they have to start with those perceived to be anti-government?
Okay, that sounds.
What was the criteria used in the shutting down of the radio
station? That sounds more like speculation.
No, it's not speculation.
I'm expecting.
How did they pick on XYZ, Raymond? How did they pick on XYZ and Radio Gold?
Okay,
to go and shut down them and shut them down in the manner in which they did, in the Rambo style, with heavily armed security people.
No. I mean, let's get this.
At the timing they did, at the timing when they were broadcasting
again, all of these points you have actually made. I'm asking for proof, evidence.
That is the evidence I'm giving you.
Evidence.
Raymond,
that suggests that the executive president of the Republic of Ghana influenced this decision.
Raymond, if you put all these pieces together, you will arrive at the unmistakable conclusion that it was not just done on the face of just doing it for the sake. So that there was an ulterior motive behind.
Yes, and
that is why.
And you are attributing this ulterior motive to the executive president.
That is why, of course, why not? That is why I'm saying that, Raymond, we are interested in getting the NCA insulated from this political interference and control.
When did this interest become your doing?
No, I ever since I became a member of the committee. For the last 6 years, I've been a member of the committee.
It has always been under some political control.
I'm just saying that.
No, Honorable. See, let's take it small.
Politicians.
One by one.
No.
You are. No, sorry.
Raymond, there was never a case.
You've been on the committee for 6 years.
Yes.
Is it your considered opinion that in the last 6 years, the NCA has always been under direct political control?
In the last 6 years, we have never had what we are having today in respect of this matter of the.
My question is simple.
And on the contrary,
sorry.
In fact,
I'm asking a simple question. Yes or no to this one?
In the last 15 years, governments that have come, including the government of His Excellency President Kufuor, during his time, realized this problem came up. He realized that, look, it is in the interest of our democracy.
Then I'm
and our
convinced you are a practicing journalist.
Yes,
I get your point. I'm not disputing
yes.
that. And again, you have been a journalist before. I'm expecting you to state to me categorically here whether you believe that the kind of political control you say the NCA has been subjected to started only the last 2 years, or is being for the last 6 years.
That's what I say in fairness.
Because you told me that you've been worried about political control for the last 6 years.
In fairness, I can't sit here and just say that it just began. Okay?
So because during the time of John Dramani Mahama,
even from the time of President Rawlings to President Kufuor, governments would want to have an input and some influence in how the NCA works. No doubt about it.
Have they influence or would want to have?
Raymond, that's what I'm saying, that never did we have a situation like this on our hands for us to interrogate the issue and get to the bottom.
All this while they've had the intent, but this time they actually.
That's what I'm saying, that it's possible that in the past they must have done some other influence in some other direction. But it is because now we're talking about the right of the freedom of expression, which touches on every single Ghanaian.
Is it one of the things,
and that is why it's so crucial for all of us?
Is it one of the things you are likely to ask the NCA leadership when you get them?
I'm sure that
was this decision when the NCA
appears before the committee, you can be sure that everything will be put on board. And I'm sure that after the briefing, members of parliament will also have their
this input. Your query of the NCA, to what end? To get them to reverse the decision?
I'm saying that together with the NCA, we are going to explore the way forward. I have said that it is not the overriding duty of the NCA, and the NCA should not be a happy body to be closing down radio stations. I'm sure if you go and ask the leadership of the NCA, they will tell you that they are not happy to be closing down the radio stations. They should not be.
Yes, but
because you see, it's like a mother who is nurturing somebody. If they are, like I'm saying, there are shortcomings. You don't on the face, like you have a sore on your leg, Raymond. Your first run of action is not to go for amputation. It's to treat the leg, dress it, put some medicine, let it heal, and you use the leg. You don't go for amputation. So NCA should not just go to cut off the heads of the radio stations. It's to afford them opportunity to make good the deficit that they have that has necessitated that action, so that their authorization can be renewed, so that they become compliant. So we are helping the NCA to get the radio stations to be compliant, and the radio stations to also go back and continue to do their work, so that our democracy, Ghanaians' freedom of expression, will be enhanced. So all of us will be, it will be a win-win situation for the NCA and the radio stations and Ghanaians as a whole.
I get your point. So this is why you are calling the NCA to Parliament.
Exactly.
But do you have the powers to?
We have oversight.
Yes, I get it. But do you have the powers to dictate to what to do?
Respectfully.
You can't do that.
We are treating the.
So you are just going to make suggestions to them.
We are treating the NCA with respect and decorum.
You cannot dictate to them.
Parliament has oversight responsibility.
I get your point.
And the Committee on Communications has oversight over the NCA.
Again, that oversight.
We are exercising our right of oversight.
That oversight responsibility doesn't give you the right to direct their affairs, right?
I'm not sure anybody has used direction here, but we are saying that the committee does have an input.
So you are going to make suggestions to the NCA
I'm saying that we are going to dialogue with the NCA. We are not calling them to give them directives. Nobody gives directives, as we say. But I am sure that they also recognize that Parliament as a body that has oversight is a very important body they should take serious. So I'm sure when they also come, they'll be mindful of that fact. And as a dialogue
process, when you make suggestions to them, they will consider.
You may call them suggestions, you may call them inputs, call them whatever you are. But they are vital pieces of communication that all of us will have together. And I believe at the end of the day, they will take on board some of the concerns that the committee will raise and go and enrich the content of their action, so that together all of us will sort this problem.
You in Parliament have no powers to reverse the decision, right?
To reverse
the decision of the NCA?
No, I'm saying that it's not about using powers to reverse it, but dialoguing for all of us to realize that where we are now is not the best for all of us.
You virtually are going to beg them to reverse the decision.
Raymond, I don't know the choice of words you want to use. Nobody is going to beg, nobody is going to use force. Nobody. We are going to dialogue. And I believe that as a body that recognizes that the Communications Committee of Parliament has oversight over them, they will listen to us.
I see.
And I believe that
I reverse a decision that they think is lawful.
Sanoch and his people there, they will listen to the committee.
And reverse a decision that they think is lawful.
I'm sure that they will take the decision that will be ultimately in the national interest. And it's in the national interest for us to sort this problem out and allow the radio stations to operate and allow the NCA's regulations to also be complied with. So that is what we are saying, that at the end, the compliance that NCA is looking for the authorization will be gotten. And then the radio station will also get the opportunity to get the authorization and go back and do the work. And Ghanaians can enjoy their unfettered right of access to freedom of expression. That is at the core of our democracy.
I'm not hearing you talk about the other radio stations across the country.
I'm not talking about, I say all the radio stations. Raymond, I never said only XYZ and Radio Gold. I'm talking about all radio stations. In fact, tomorrow, if they are going to do that to Joy FM, I'm telling you, will see me in this studio. Okay? This one is without bias to any radio station.
This unit really
every radio
hardly abuses any of the rules.
Even I'm unrepentant, unapologetic NDC. But if they do that to a pro-MPP radio station, I will stand strong and speak for them. Because you see, Raymond, our democracy thrives on plurality of views.
I see.
Diversity of views. The day we have only one channel, one way views, our democracy is dead. So we must encourage that diversity. We must encourage that plurality of views. It is out of the plurality that the best in the marketplace will be picked and our country will be the better off for it. So it's important for us.
Do you have the justification for the shutdown of the other radio stations across the country?
I'm saying that most of the radio stations are similar to what is happening in respect of this thing. And I just indicated to you, the de facto position is that these were radio stations that existed. Whether the law says that they didn't exist before, that's what the law says. But the spirit of the law is that these are radio stations that existed. You know, Radio Gold has existed for more than how many decades?
Since 1995.
Many fine journalists today who are trained went through Radio Gold.
Some are even members of parliament.
Exactly. Okay. So you can see the contribution it has made to our democratic process. To shut down such a very important outfit that has contributed significantly to our democracy is to do them grave injustice and do this country grave injustice. So I'm saying that all the radio stations, without letting it look, because all of them have contributed immensely. Raymond, on a daily basis, people take their phones out of their own pocket money to buy units, to make calls. It is His Excellency President Nanado who admonishes Ghanaians that we should not be spectators. Am I lying?
I guess you, but I need to take a break.
So how do we cease being spectators when radio stations are being shut down? Radio stations that Ghanaians contribute to ensuring that they enrich the content of our policy as government are being shut down. I don't think that is.
Give me a second. Let me take a break. When we return from this break, we'll continue with our conversation on UPfront. My guest here is the minority spokesperson. He's ranking member on the Communications Committee too, and we'll be talking first and foremost about why he and others joined that particular demonstration to demand that shutdown radio stations be reopened by the National Communications Authority. After this break, we'll continue this conversation. You welcome back to UPfront. Our conversation is on recent shutdown of some radio stations in Accra and the demonstrations that follow this. The minority spokesperson, also the ranking member on the Communications Committee in Parliament, the Honorable A.B.A Fuseini, is my guest. And before we move into other conversations, you sure should be able to applaud the Executive President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for assenting to the Right to Information Act. This is something that the former president and the former government wanted to do, but never happened.
Yeah, Raymond, before I come to that, it's important to put this thing in a proper context.
Which one?
Raymond, the government of President Nana Akufo, sadly to relate, has demonstrated crass intolerance. Especially to the media. Raymond, today, as I speak, Manasseh Azure, who put up that story on militia in the castle.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah.
Has had to flee the country.
Yeah,
okay?
But yes, okay? What's the point here?
I'm coming to a point. I'm shaving you, don't touch your head. Raymond, Adeti, who did this thing on the former minister, Roxanne Bukari, has had to flee his home. Latif, Abubakar, yeah, in Joy FM.
Latif
Idris.
Okay.
You are aware of what happened to him. So there's a serious creeping intolerance. The same man, as you would recall, did an expose on His Excellency President Mahama in relation to the Ford expedition. I'm sure you are aware.
Yes, I know that.
Which the MPP in the run-up to the 2016 used as a whipping propaganda tool against the NDC in the elections. Nobody ever threatened even anybody. Indeed, when Manasseh launched his book, President Mahama was the first to buy that book for 30,000 Ghana cedis.
13,000 or 30?
30,000 Ghana cedis.
I see.
Okay? So that shows you the mark of statesmanship and somebody who is a true consummate Democrat. contrast that with what is happening today. Even today, in spite of all the exposures and what you did against NDC in the run-up to the 2016 election, this was just a pebble thrown. And today, what is happening? They are boycotting Joy FM. So it tells you, look at the level, compare and contrast the two positions and see who is intolerant. So tolerance is a key ingredient in our democratic process. The MPP can throw rocks. They can even throw the kitchen sink at you. You dare throw a pebble against them. The whole world will see you run. I think that we don't need that kind of posture in our democratic process. We need a very tolerant, especially when you are in government. That is where you should exercise that level of tolerance and ensure that just as you give to other people, you give it to other people. When others are giving to you, take it in the same spirit.
I see.
That is the spirit in which we want to see. And that is the spirit within which this passage of the right of freedom of information should be seen. If that environment is present, Raymond, is it not an indictment that for somebody like President Nana Akufo-Addo, who has been in the media limelight, fight for media freedom, establish even newspapers to give vent to Ghanaians to express themselves at the heart of freedom of expression. Today, precise over where our rankings in the international community of nations has dropped. Ghana was the first country in 2016 under President Mahama. We were rated the best in terms of freedom of expression.
In the sub-region?
The entire Africa.
Okay.
We were number one. That is a matter of record, 2016. Today, we have descended lower. That should send worrying signals to us that all is not right with the approach of government and other its apparatus in working to ensure freedom. And that is why they should sit up. This further distance about closure of radio stations can only make it worse. Because the international community begins to hear that even radio stations are being closed, and especially those seem to be hostile or anti-government are those who have been
even if it's compliance with the laws of the country.
I'm saying that when you squat and they see something nobody cares about it, you put it there. So it's very, very important. So, but I'm saying that let me applaud President Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP for passing this. But let us say that the applause is not for only President Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP. In fact, this battle for right of freedom began in 1999.
For a very long time.
1999. And so, in fact, if we want to give credit, all the various regimes,
which did not pass it,
from President Rawlings,
and they did not pass it
because they made an input. All the
inputs.
All the inputs. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you, I'm in Parliament, and as a member of this, I've taken active interest. In fact, we went to Koforidua, where we went clause by clause.
I see.
As a ranking member. Okay. So I know where some of those things came. Some of them have antecedents as far back as 1999. Some of them back to the era of President Kufuor.
I see.
Some of them back to the era of President Atta Mills. Okay? And then also to President Mahama. So all the regimes that we are talking about will take credit for contributing to the... It's true that it passed under the regime of President Nana Akufo-Addo, for which he must be given credit.
Recall that...
But I'm just saying that, and also let's not forget that there have been NGOs who have sacrificed...
I get your point, but you recall that...
The NGOs who have sacrificed their time, energy, and money in campaigning for this thing to be done. Many, I can record,
yes,
I can recount.
There are
Media
always
Foundation
people
for West
who
Africa,
have participated in it.
Coalition of
but
NGOs
it is
for right of freedom
instructive to know that it is during this government's time that this has been passed.
You see, that's why I'm just telling you that you can be lucky that during your time something happens and is consummated. Like I've been saying,
luck?
Yes, I'm just saying.
The NDC had the opportunity to pass it, get it to the end of its term in 2016.
I'll just give you an example.
Even former President Mahama said he regretted not passing.
Let me give you that one. And I have said it, that even under NDC in 2016, we should have passed it. Indeed, the last, this thing we called at the last sitting of the parliament before, the matter was before us.
Okay.
We were going to pass it when the minority staged a walkout, and in fact indicated that they will stage a walkout.
But the minority has actually staged walkouts and it passed what the minority passed in times past.
That is why if you ask me of my personal opinion, I regretted that we should have gone ahead and passed it.
I see.
Irrespective of the walkout. But I think our leaders were so minded about unanimity and consensus and all that thing.
Parliament's always feared right to information.
So I'm saying that is what the reason they gave, that they wanted consensus, they wanted all of us to put certain things together so that all of us, Parliament, could go in unison.
I want you to quickly touch on going forward.
I'm just saying that, so it is important. So yes, President Nana Akufo-Addo has assured that the passage has continued and come to fruition. He signed. Fantastic. He's done a good job. But I'm saying that the credit is for all the regimes that came, where contributions have made. The credit is for all the NGOs who have contributed. The credit is for even you, Raymond, all of you, who lent your voices constantly to say that even sometimes to rail this thing on us MPs that we were dragging our feet.
Which is
because
true anyway.
There were a number of times I heard Joy FM accusing all MPs that we are all very derelict in our duties and not rising up to ensure that the act were passed, and that we are even afraid of the law.
Yeah, that it might not be passed. Mindful of your history.
Yes, so fine, you said all those things, but I'm saying that all of those things gingered us as a group to ensure that
going forward, how do we ensure that this law does not become a white elephant?
Yeah, you see, I think, and I'm sure you already are aware that even though the president has assented to the bill and it is now law, it cannot take effect now.
Yes, implementation
is somewhere next year.
Okay.
And even there are a few caveats.
That's true.
It's subject to the institutionalization or the formation of certain institutions.
Okay.
A commission, information officers, and some other infrastructure.
But that's a law you guys passed, right?
You see, so it's waiting to be seen about government's commitment to ensure the enforcement of this law.
You think government's committed?
I want to believe that with what Ghanaians have said, government must show commitment. I'm saying must show. What it will do, I'm not in government. I'm not in the thinking of this government.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that Ghanaians cannot wait to start exercising the right to the freedom of information that Parliament has passed.
Okay.
And so I think that it is incumbent on the Nana Akufo-Addo government not to drag its feet, because I'm sure Ghanaians will not take any feet dragging on this matter.
Mindful of how the Special Prosecutor's Office and its happenings actually moved along and the implementation of the office. In fact, it's been recently that the office has been advertising for workers and all of that. So far, it's filed 2 or so cases, one on Mahama Yaga, the other also we are yet to be briefed fully on. Mindful of how the implementation of that office became somewhat of a problem along the line. Do you expect a similar thing to happen in there?
I doubt, even because I just heard you say the filing of cases, Mama Yarga. I'm not aware the case has been filed.
Oh, you're not aware?
Yes.
A case is
I'm aware that they have since March been touting a charge sheet.
Yes.
Which court have they filed it?
You don't think it's been filed?
No. Which court? And when has the case been called?
No, of course. I mean, it doesn't mean that we called immediately.
Yes. So why? Because I have spoken to the legal representation of Honorable Mama Yarga, and they tell me to the best of their knowledge, they are not aware the matter has been taken to court.
He spoke to me about these
the police and Yoko and that is why they have come up with a charge sheet, but they have not. Because even Yoko itself has had to beat some hasty retreats.
On what?
On some of the charges, because they said some of the charges cannot be sustained. Like
which one?
The one they were talking about in respect of
the fraudulent
the issue of evasion of taxes. They have not investigated, and the taxes have not been paid. Absolutely.
But
so it's a trumped charge.
It's not a charge sheet.
It is. It is trumped up. That is why I'm saying that even as we speak now, they are still haggling over it. That's why, in which court has it been filed? There's a charge sheet, certainly. And this charge sheet has been in existence since March.
You suspect persecution.
So, you know, all of us are in favor of the special prosecutor fighting. We're happy to fight corruption, because I have said corruption is one of the things that bleeds public resources into private pockets and sacrifice our development.
I see.
So if we are able to collectively fight and ensure we win the fight against corruption, this nation will have more resources available to prosecute development for a better life for our people. So all of us should be on it. But I have said demonstrably, Raymond, and I challenge it, show me which government in this history has fought corruption while it is still in government. It is President Mahama's government that even when allegations were made against some of his appointees, they were not only investigated. Prosecution took place. There are some people who are even... you are aware of the National Service team, you are aware of the JIDA team, you are aware of a number of other things that came up.
The only person I recall is...
So I'm saying that you can even recall somebody.
Yes.
So you can recall that, at least in the case of that, that's done. Show me one example under this Nana Akufo-Addo government, in spite of the mountain of allegations of corruption.
But Martin Amidu, when you see his 26 list of cases, includes government officials, the information minister is on the list, a deputy, what do you call it, the finance minister is on the list.
Raymond, the sweetness of the pudding is not the aroma it emits, it's in the actual eating. Your intention to prosecute is not the same as prosecution.
But of course,
so let us not.
But you know, it goes through a process.
Raymond,
it's not cast in stone that it will not be prosecuted.
You see, don't let us dance ourselves lame before the first drum beat. It's important for us to wait and let the charges come. The special prosecutor was sworn into office.
Yeah.
Amid pomp and pageantry and the pronouncement by the president that he is coming, like a kai. Ally.
Yeah.
We are all waiting. And that is why you yourself just said about because of the things that have happened, people are apprehensive now regarding this thing. So I'm just even saying that, do you know where the office of the special prosecutor is?
No, I'm told they are getting a new building, big building with brilliant stuff.
How many years does it take you to get a building?
Because there were some constraints, and now they have 180 million Ghana cedis to run their office this time around. I sit
in Parliament.
Yes.
There's a whole world of difference between an allocation
and release,
and actual releases and disbursements.
I see.
Completely. They say he has 180. Look, Raymond, we passed the last budget in November last year.
Yeah.
As we speak now, many ministries, departments, and agencies haven't got 1 kobo.
Really?
I am telling you, go find out.
How many?
I've given Joy FM a tip.
No problem. I'll check it out, but tell me the number.
Many of them.
Tell me the number.
I can't give you the number because I've not gone down on the ministry department.
But do you have any of the ministries in mind? Give me a single ministry.
Many of them even are complaining. You go to public servants.
You are the one making the claim. I'm asking you to.
Why? You want me to name some public servants and others?
No, I'm asking you to specifically tell me the ministry or department.
I am just telling you that many ministries, department, and agencies.
Finance.
Finance. Well, you can't be selling share butter and your feet to be white. So
I get your point.
So certainly finance,
health.
I'm telling you, go and talk.
Education.
Raymond, I've given you food for thought.
Roles.
I've been a media man for almost.
I get you, but
before I transited to politics.
That's why
I was in the media for almost 30 years, so I know when I say something. Yes. When I say this one is a mail, but I'm holding it by the balls.
Yes, but I'm not.
So I'm just giving you. I'm giving you food to work on.
Unfortunately,
go to the
I don't
department
take things hook, line, sinker. I'm asking you for specific names of ministries.
That's why I say that. I cannot sit here and just start naming. Otherwise, if you want
it might not be true. Your claim might not be true.
So if you go and investigate and you find out and they say that all of them have got their destiny, you come and make news out of it. But I'm telling you, many of them have not had their releases. Okay?
And by release, we are really talking about specifically the section for goods and service and capital expenditure.
All those, go find out.
Because they are being paid, right? If you are being paid, that means that's
part of the releases. Some of them are paid for no work because they cannot get the goods and services and others to work with. Many of them, as we speak, cannot even discharge their contractual obligations. Some of them owe some contractors.
The larger chunk, the majority.
But if you think a majority is good, that a government.
No, I'm sorry,
this thing was released in November.
Putting value on it.
Yes, so I'm saying that.
I'm just asking for numbers.
That must be worrying, Raymond.
It is worrying to me. That's what I want
as we are speaking now, many of them cannot even get their complement of goods and services and others to work with. That we are using the taxpayers' money to pay them for no work done.
I need to wrap up on this conversation.
This is a government that has claimed that it is the government that is committed to protecting the public purse. Is that how to protect the public purse?
I need to wrap up on the conversation. There are 2 issues I want to bring to your attention. The first one is to do with specifically the current conversation with the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission come out to say that there's no fears about whether it's going to be able to rig the election, because even if they want to do so, the systems are way too strong. They can't do so. Are you satisfied now?
I've always said that, which true armed robber will serve you notice before he comes to your house.
You don't believe them?
I'm just, you see, by their actions, it is the good book, the Bible, that says that from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
They just said that they can't rig the election. That's what the mouth has spoken.
I'm coming to that. Raymond, the first actions of this commission takes precedence from what happened with the predecessor. Raymond, if you are suffering,
the removal of them.
If you are suffering in hell, blame death. Look at the circumstances under which the former Electoral Commissioner Charlotte was removed.
What's that got to do with these people?
Very frivolous petition. In fact,
what's that got to do with these people? In that petition,
Raymond, one of the petitioners was a dead man. One Mr. Ajahukevi.
Sorry, what's that
at the Electoral Commission. He died years ago. His name featured as one of the people who petitioned.
My question is, what's that got to do with the new team?
Look at the conditions. And I'm coming to that. I'm saying that it gives you an idea of the motive.
Forgive me.
What was the motive? The allegation the MPP made against Madam Charlotte Osei was that she was coming to rig the election for the NDC. Was that not it? I mean, you are aware that that allegation was made.
The claims before for the removal of the chairperson and the deputies were purely on procurement and other matters.
No, the MPP said it even at a press conference it organized at its party headquarters.
I'm looking at the documents, not the press conference.
I am telling you, and I'm indicating to you, this is a matter of public knowledge. Raymond, we cannot run away. The MPP made it public at the highest echelons that Madam Charlotte Osei had been put in place by President Mahama to come and rig the election.
I think I'm running out of time.
Yes, so they said that.
The thing I'm
so I'm saying that I'm coming to Madam Jean Mesa.
Yes.
You see, Raymond, the very first action when she was calling the IPAC meeting was to serve all other parties and the NDC 45 minutes before the meeting took place.
Yes, they have apologized for that.
No, you see, the apology doesn't take away the intent.
I get your point.
Apology may be accepted, but I'm saying that the real intent remains.
Honorable,
you see, and that
can
one,
the NDC
that one
let go and work with
yes,
the woman?
Look, at an IPAC meeting,
can the NDC let go
I'm
and
just
work with the
giving you
woman?
an example. At an IPAC meeting, a point is made. Many people are laughing. Then she singles out our general secretary.
Okay.
Johnson Asiedu Nketia.
Okay.
And singles him out for ridicule and scorn. And all the verbiage was poured on him. That betrays a certain attitude.
I see.
Okay? He's second in command. Mr. Bossman goes on air, even though we have a PRO, and chastises the NDC as a body that is not decent enough to work with the Electoral Commission.
That's what.
Look at the body language. You heard what he said about the NDC.
Okay.
And his credentials are known. He was a TESCON patron in Lagos.
Really?
Yes. It's a matter of record.
I don't record that.
So you bring all these people into an Electoral Commission. Why wouldn't he feed into the perception that they have been brought there to do a hatchet job? Okay? And Raymond, look at the worst aspect, the last IPAC meeting, where it was not even advertised on the agenda of a new voters register.
They have come back to respond to all of
CSF
these.
comes and says that it was discussed and adopted.
Okay.
That is very, very serious.
I need to go.
Coming from an Electoral Commission.
I need to
go. So
go.
all these things add up to some credibility deficits.
I need to go.
So even before they have had time to entrench, they are running a huge credibility deficit.
You're on the communications
which
committee.
They have a duty
Forgive me.
to work. You see, we are going to measure them by their actions
I get you, but I need to move on. Now, there's a big issue to do today. The organizers of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards have actually suspended two artists, one Shatawale and the other Stone Boy. You interested?
Suspended?
Yeah, actually suspended them indefinitely.
Yeah.
Banned them, for example, from the awards. They've withdrawn their awards too.
I am not. I'm saying it's for you. I'm a young man. I mean, by no means, but I'm not in the brackets of you, the young people who patronize Shatawale and Stone Boy and who have.
But is it fair to them?
But I think that here this matter is in court.
Yes.
So legally, I'm sure it would have been proper to allow the judicial process to play out, to exhaust the entire decision, and depending on the outcome, if they are convicted, you can do so. Yeah. So assuming they free them, what happens? You must have been you have acted prejudicially. Okay. So I think that they should have allowed the legal process to run its course, and then they will come back and do that. But there's no doubt. I believe they must have been acting in the face of the huge public revulsion. Yeah. Against what happened at that place. Okay. Because I think that it was a huge indictment. It was a huge shame. Okay. That was brought not just to even the music industry, but Ghana as a whole. I get that. A very important thing to honor people ended up in the manner that it did. I get you. And it was so humiliating that I think that maybe the organizers and others and maybe those who are running the show think that for their image and credibility, they should take some action. I'm pleased as usual to have had you in the studios here. Folks, that's where we end today's edition of Upfront.